Okay, most of you know that my sister is deaf, right? So she has a profound, she's considered like severe, the most involved type of hearing loss. She prefers to be called deaf though. She's very proud of being called deaf. She wants to be called a deaf person with a big capital D because she's proud of it. I think her loss in both of her ears is 90 decibels. So she says that she can really only hear if somebody is really loud, like if they do a loud clap right here, it would have to be a foot away from her ear. And it would have to be a high pitch, you know, like a screech, or a really low pitch like a tractor trailer horn, and it would have to be right here. All right, so when she's driving the car and someone's beeping at her, she's not going to hear it. If you scream her name, Mindy, she's not going to hear it. You'd have to be right here being very, very loud in her ear. And there's a really cool simulator if you'd ever like to hear what it might sound like to have a mild to a severe hearing loss. If you want to write it down in your notes, it's called Starkey.com. So it's spelled like this. And when you get the little search glass, you would type in hearing loss simulator. So it's this. She does wear hearing aids, but hearing aids don't fix the problem. They don't make it to where she can hear talking. They just give her a little bit better alert when there's a noise around her. Okay? She's never going to regain her hearing. It doesn't get better. She's always going to be deaf. Now, some types of hearing loss can be improved to where you can hear people talking and things of that nature. I brought a picture maybe later, or now, doesn't matter, of what a cochlear implant looks like. Have you ever seen somebody that has like a button stuck to the side of their head attached to a hearing aid? That's called a cochlear implant. And my sister's husband actually had that, and his family went a different route than our family. Our family did hearing aids and sign language, and his family went the cochlear implant route and talking. They did not sign to him. They did not use their hands at all. And they sent him to a school to learn to talk, an oral school. And my sister went to a sign language school to learn sign language. So two different thoughts on how to have some accommodations for hearing. But a cochlear implant actually removes the cochlea you have in your ear, and they replace it with some mechanical things to help with that conduction of sound, the sound waves, to transfer it into the nerve that goes to your brain. Okay? Now my sister was born deaf genetically. So it was in her gene makeup to be deaf. And we didn't know that because she had also had birth trauma where her head got mushed when she was little. So originally the doctors and my parents thought that she became deaf because her nerves in her ears got mushed and damaged, which is one reason people can be deaf. But we found out later, just a few years ago, that she's really genetically deaf. And it is a sensorineural deafness. So it has something to do with the nerves. So she actually receives the sound in her ears. There's nothing there that stops that. So the waves, she gets them. It's just then when it converts in the nerve to the brain, there's something wrong. So that's why she doesn't hear. Do you have any questions? I know we're getting close on time, but you know where I work. You can talk to me all day.
Tapping into what you said, different types of deafness. I actually have some on my left ear, but it's not genetic. It is due to radiation. When I went through radiation treatment for my brain tumors, a year later I started losing hearing, and when I went to the doctors, I already had a 15% loss and continuing to get a loss. And the only way they were able to help me was to give me a eustachian tube, which is like a little tube that goes into your eardrum to open it up and release the pressure. There wasn't a lot of fluid there, it was just negative pressure because of all the damage I have, even though they were trying to fix things, they also damage things, because radiation is very dangerous. And so to this day, I will live with that problem, and almost every 6 months I get a new tube. Right now, my tube is out. And so my hearing is actually very different right now than what it normally is. It's not completely deaf, but sometimes it feels like I'm underwater on the left side, so I don't hear everything the same way. Sometimes I don't hear it. And they can't always, like right now, they can't put the tube back in until this heals because the hole's too big for the tube. So right now, I'm kind of stuck with my hearing disability.
So her fluid gets built up, and then that doesn't allow the eardrum to conduct sound. So those waves, you know, the waves that you're learning about, they go into your ear, and the eardrum continues to conduct that sound to the nerve. And so that's where her issue is. And remember, with my sister, hers is the actual, all the other parts work. It's the nerve to the brain, right? And so if you look, here's a little picture of a cute little baby with a cochlear implant. And sometimes you'll see people call them CIs. And this is actually very controversial in the deaf community. Like, my sister's husband had this, and that was fine. She's accepting of whatever anybody else chooses, but for her, in her belief, in her deaf cultural belief, she thinks that she's fine, and she doesn't want to change anything. She doesn't want to have a surgery to try this. But basically, this is a magnet. So they go into the brain, they take some stuff out. This is actually, you can take it on and off. Boop, 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 boop. It pops on and off with a magnet. And then basically the sound comes in and your ear just holds it. So there's nothing really that goes in here. The hearing aid just is held by your ear. And then it conducts, it takes over and conducts the sound to the brain that way. So it's pretty cool. So you can take that on and off. But you'll see people when they don't have their CI, like right around here, they have an arc scar. You've probably seen that, right? In a store or somewhere. Now, my sister's husband doesn't wear his all the time because there's a lot of work. Think about it. Your cell phones, your computers, technology requires a lot of work when things go wrong. And so there's a lot of work to upkeep and maintain your cochlear implant. So you have to go to therapy, you have to get it updated. So he doesn't always wear his. You had a question?
Isn't it that both ears are better at interpreting different types of sound? Like, doesn't the left ear have a better ability to interpret like speech?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't think that's the ears part, that's the part of the brain. Because each side of the brain interprets different things and is responsible for different things.
Because your parts in your ears are the same on both sides.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a neurological.
Yeah, then a neurological when it gets to the brain. That would be something you can look up. But you can look up online all the different causes of deafness. There's so many. There's so many. Genetic things, syndromes, things like Miss Rivera's going through, just the other mechanical makeup of your ears. It's pretty cool. All right, so no more questions? All right. Well, like I said, you know where I work. You can talk to me all day.
Thank you for coming up and sharing that.
Thank you.
That was